All right, welcome back, everybody. Episode 4 this week, and back again with me, my friend from NorCal, holding it down, the professional DJ, if you will, for the professional ball dancing scene that will throw you curveballs and also crazy dance numbers. So you better be ready to dance to whatever he's going to throw you, because the DJ controls the tempo, he controls the pace. He's my co-host with the most, DJ Ruben. How the hell are you?
I'm doing well, OC Steve. How was your day today, man? Do anything exciting?
I went to WonderCon. I'm already gazing into the future. That's how great DesignerCon was. That was my first time attending DesignerCon. It's at the same space, the Anaheim Convention Center, which for you, being the Disney super fan extraordinaire, is like less than a couple 100 feet away. You will be venturing there your first time in March for WonderCon, but I will later kind of give my debrief of DesignerCon and let you know my thoughts and opinions. But the thing that's the focal point right now that we will be discussing is Geeksgiving. And now you're probably sitting there going, what the hell is Geeksgiving? And it was a crazy harebrained idea that I presented to Ruben off screen. And I think that what's kind of a trend that I want to get rid of in the geek culture space, man, is that we go a little too hard in the paint with the stuff that we don't like. And it can come off as kind of annoying, kind of nauseating, kind of to the point like, why am I even watching this stuff and I'm listening to these guys gripe about something? God forbid that they be happy about something that has come out right now or something that they're looking forward to in the near future. So that is the point. We're going to show appreciation for each something that we are mutually enjoying either right now or looking forward to in geek culture. So that's why I took this little image here of the Fantastic Four, the nuclear Marvel family sitting down for a turkey dinner. You got Ben Grimm, who probably drank like 2 whole barrels of beer sitting down. Probably Johnny slow roasting the turkey right there. And then you got the kids. You got Valeria and little Frankie there, Richards, ready to chow down on some tryptophan and then get lazy and probably wake up after their turkey coma a couple hours later to participate in some online commerce.
There you go.
So I was gonna the American dream for the American Marvel nuclear family. That is actually, we can talk about that because that is something that is kind of in the far distant future. We're a couple phases away from the Fantastic Four, whether they fall in phase 6 or they kick off phase 7. It's a long time coming. We've had a couple different outings and iterations of the Fantastic Four where they got pieces right. Maybe not necessarily the whole major movie in itself. Sometimes with the first outing that they had with Chris Evans as the Human Torch, you had a director that came from comedy, and sometimes comedy doesn't translate to also drama and action because the Fantastic Four is a melodrama and incorporates a lot of themes and a lot of undertones. So I think that you can't do that. And then when they did the Josh Trank version, the guy who did Chronicle, I think he leaned too much into that they became scientific freaks and monsters, and you lost the humor that is a component of the Fantastic Four, but you also lost a little bit of that humanity. Like it became very dark, very dim, so very eerie, and the reshoots just didn't connect when they had to go back and they were trying to save that movie to kind of make it watchable. So I'm hoping this next outing out for the nuclear family of Marvel Comics is done well. Rumors are that it's kind of has gotten me piqued and interested is that it's going to be set. And these are rumors, so I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but it makes me happy to know that they are catering the idea of setting the Fantastic Four in the 1960s. Space age, that kind of era. That's when they, all those great ideas from Jack Kirby and Stan Lee came into existence because the world around them was constantly changing and shifting with scientific modernization and technology. So to see a futurist in the 1960s is going to be amazing to witness. And as long as they get the idea that the family comes first in that movie, I think it'll be great. There's a guy who already did a great 2 movies. They were animated about superhero families. And if they can get him to kind of come out of retirement to direct this movie and they can get a good script. You don't even need Doctor Doom in this film. It'll be a good movie. What do you think about the Fantastic Four, Ruben?
I would love to see them go back to the 60s. I think that's an interesting era because, everything's set to modern times now. But, just go back to there and then really at the end of the day, like you can add all the fluff to it. The Fantastic Four is a family story the entire time. So hopefully they get back to those roots.
Yeah, they're each going through their struggles, but the one thing that they had in common is that they could always rely on each other. So I think as long as you deal with that, and I think them being people out of time, whether maybe the midpoint is that they show up in present day, or if the movie's entirely, for the most part, set in the 60s, and then the big reveal at the end of the movie is that maybe they go through a rift in time and space, because they're kind of a cosmic family, and they show up in modern day MCU, and that's your post-credit scene, I'd be a happy camper. So,
Sure.
So I think your Geeksgiving thing that I am going to share a screen tab of, that you're ecstatic about currently right now.
I'm currently ecstatic about House of the Dragon.
So break it down for me, man. Like, what with this new iteration is the sensation that's keeping you captivated?
What's keeping me captivated is the fact that there's no, there is a book material, but it's vague. Through Fire and Blood, the book, it's just a retelling of people's historic accounts. So they have pretty much free reign to interpret this as they see fit.
So that book, for the most part, is kind of told like a history book. Like it's
Yes.
just little brief paragraphs where they explain the events, but the show allows it to expand in further detail, and they give it a little bit more life, literally, with the show. Absolutely.
It gives you more of a reason to care about about that world that we all know already, and really was a great reintroduction to Game of Thrones and just how everything came to be. I'm not going to spoil anything for you because I think everyone should subscribe to HBO Max and watch it.
Shameless plug, kids. If we're not sponsored now, eventually down the line, hopefully. We're talking a lot about you, HBO Max. But I think what's kind of neat is it from the couple episodes that I viewed was the foreshadowing. Because obviously This is a couple hundred years back, where the Targaryens are kind of the head family in charge because dragons are running around and they're riding dragons and they're dictating the pace of the known modern world. But the collapse of other families that led to the rise of other ones that will eventually be on the forefront, that it will become Game of Thrones, is kind of a neat thing. And when you know that the end wasn't received ever so well, it's kind of let's go back and forget that a little bit, and we'll fill in some details and gaps and some characters and some events that led to the foreshadowing of what's to come, and make you feel a little bit better that we're going back here and we're doing it right, and we're listening to the fans. I think is one of those things that there was the reception that a lot of people are enjoying about it, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely. I think that there are, quote unquote fan service moments to it. I mean, the fact that there's more than 3 dragons in this one is really captivating in itself, and that the actual dragons aren't color swapped. They all have their own set of unique features. So there's a lot of things to draw your attention to. So.
Well, the people that are controlling them, kind of the rider emulates the dragon emulates the rider. So there's some that are a little more gruff, and a little sharper around the edges that kind of emulate their demeanor. And you see them visually in aerial combat. So, if you need to get your Top Gun fix, you're getting it with dragons.
Dragons.
There you go, man. So that's what you're looking forward to. I think, we kind of hit home with the Fantastic Four that we're both looking forward to it in that own right. And I think the thing that I'm looking forward to, and I know that, it's not going to be necessarily well received by everybody, but, Transformers, The Rise of Beasts is coming out next year. And I think what they did with Bumblebee was awesome. Like, they didn't have to hit a big hard reboot button. It was a soft retooling of the franchise and just kind of like dipping into a parallel timeline. So it's still Transformers. It's still the core. There's still the major concepts. But now with Bumblebee, we went to the 80s. With Rise of Beasts, we're going into the 1990s. I mean, shit, we're getting Optimus Prime in G1 form. I'm sold on that. You kind of have Bumblebee. Yeah, so we're going back to that. We're getting RC as a Ducati here in the photo. We get Mirage as a Porsche. So I heard that he has a big part in it. It's voiced by Pete Davidson, so whatever. It's still a Transformers movie. I'll take the good with the bad. I don't know which character is the Volkswagen. I hope it's not Ratchet. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with who they're doing as that character in the movie. But the one thing I'm excited about that we can be sweaties about is it's the Rise of Beasts. So we are getting the Maximals. I don't know about the Predacons. At least they're introducing the Maximals in this movie. And Optimus Primal, the leader of the Maximals, is one of my personal favorite character actors, is voiced by Ron Perlman. Hellboy himself is going to be the voice of Optimus Primal. What are your thoughts, Ruben?
Oh, I love that. I love that. Both you and myself were big OGG1 Transformers fans, and I think that as kids of the '90s, we're also fans of
the Beast Wars, the Beast Machines.
Beast Wars, there you go. Yeah.
You know, it as a Transformers fan, yes, the animation was a little bit weird because it was the same studio that did Reboot. So it was very in its infancy CG animation. And they used a lot of the voice actors that were there because predominantly that studio was out of Canada. So they would find whatever Canadian voice talent they could get a hold of to do it. But it holds a special place in my heart because it's just kind of campy because the animation hasn't aged all that well, but the connective tissue of it being the guys that came before the Transformers and they were the defenders of Optimus Prime and the Ark while they were still on prehistoric Earth. So they had interminglings with one another, and it led to the larger impacts of the lore of Transformers is what I dug about the series. We're getting, obviously right here, we're getting Optimus Primal, we're getting Rhinox, we're getting Cheetor, we're getting Rat Pack. So those are the Maximals in this movie that are confirmed. So I don't know about the Predacons. They haven't really revealed too much about that. We do have Decepticon baddies. Megatron's not forementioned, nor is Starscream. It seems like they're going to be some gear, kind of like actual like car-based Decepticons that are going to be in the movie. But it seems like it's in a fun narrative. It's in a fun romp. It's an easy way to retool the series and bring back interest. They won me over as Bumblebee as a fan, so I'm willing to give this a shot. That, and I'm not going to lie, the toys that will probably come from this, if I get like a realistic looking version of Optimus Prime, then you've already won me over with the movie. You know, I'm going to buy the studio series leader class of that. Absolutely.
I think that's great. To piggyback off of the Bumblebee. Bumblebee was a huge, like, Bumblebee was everything that original Michael Bay movie should have been.
Yeah, and it was great. It got the spirit also of putting a little bit of the 1980s in it. It was that kind of retooling of the storyline where, you know, you had the Haley character very similar to Sam, but she had her own struggles and everything else that she was going through. She had a family, and they created the narrative of kind of this kind of 80s Santa Carla town, and they were worried about everything. And that was another great role for John Cena. So him being a part of the original Sector 7, and that whole line is like, sir, can we really trust them? I mean, they're called the Decepticons after all. Right. And him breaking the fourth wall, which obviously was another role that led to him becoming Peacemaker. So I would say this Thanksgiving Day weekend, give Bumblebee a shot. It's a fun, it's shorter. It's shorter than the Michael Bay movies. So you're not going to sit there for like Rise of the Moon and go, holy crap, did I just watch Lord of the Rings? Because this thing's like over like 3 hours long. So give Bumblebee a shot. If you're on the fence, it's worth watching. You got the OC Steve seal of approval on Bumblebee. DJ Ruben can back it too. It's a fun movie. Watch it. It's a good all ages movie. You don't have to worry about Megan Fox wearing a square foot of fabric. So you don't need to worry about any of your little risque moments there. So it's okay. The whole family can check this out, and you don't have to worry about some moment about covering some kid's eyes because of a wardrobe malfunction. So I'd say then the thing we're going to wrap up with is where I was today when we started the episode, and that is DesignerCon. Now, this is a con that has grown in size and scale over the last few years. Originally, it was just kind of like a hangout and impromptu designer spot where pop culture stuff, where designers or guys that were coming up with original stuff themselves just kind of put in an impromptu kind of drop, like an experience. And that's what really emulates through this convention now. It took over the Anaheim Convention Center, and it feels like you're going to an exclusive high-end fashion store, but it's accessible for me and you as geeks, and we don't have to drop hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to get original, unique, exclusive items. Like, this is kind of crazy. This guy was drawing this, and this is like just this winter poster that was there, like a painting that he did. And then obviously what's kind of neat is it's this intersection of fashion. It's this intersection of toys and merch and art. And it's very kind of even a little urban based. It has a lot of seasoning of California in it, with even DJs being at booths, spinning. Hip hop culture is present there. It's kind of cool to see these cars here, like the Pizza Port. There was also like the Ninja Turtles battle wagon. So it's weird to just be walking down aisles. You're checking out merch. You're seeing clothes. You're seeing T-shirts. You're seeing enamel pin, like custom designers, like trying to get started in the ground up. And then you see the battle wagon from Ninja Turtles just like pop in there. I thought that was kind of cool. And then, there's like custom designs. Like this guy had a Nacho Libre shirt. So like every little bit of geek culture is represented, and it definitely has a vibe that it wouldn't be, you couldn't do DesignerCon on the East Coast. Maybe you could, but it just wouldn't be the same. Like, it's very, California is at the essence of DesignCon in my mind. Like, it's these intersections where everybody's cool with one another. You got music, you got food, you got lucha represented, you got all this kind of crazy stuff that was put into a crock pot and given time to cultivate over the last few years. And you get this like crazy yummy pop culture chili known as DesignCon that kind of is the cream of the crop that rose to the top.
I like it. Looks fun.
And then, like, of course, what's kind of cool is with all that is the larger manufacturers have started to sponsor this event. That's why they've gotten in larger scale and size. So this is Super 7. Going back to the total Transformers talk, we'll talk a little G1 loveliness here. This is a photo of the Grimlock that they're going to be putting out. No, he doesn't transform. This is just Grim in his alt mode. He's just hanging out in Dino mode. But it's all the accessories that come with Grimlock. You get the crown. You get the super brain tank that he had from season 3 when he got all Flowers for Algernon level smart. You got Wheelie right there. You got the fish. And he comes with interchangeable arms so he can hold a tray with an apron. So Grim can hand you his snacks. Next level bots right there. Obviously, you got Trax, and you got another character there. That this is the Pac-Man area that I was talking about. Like, it's just cool to see these car clubs get like licensing and bring their cars. And this is a seat container, and you go inside, and then they're selling exclusive Namco merch with Pac-Man on it. With this, it's just these weird intersections that normally it wouldn't sound like with rhyme or reason. It's like peanut butter and chocolate just coming together, and you try it, and it's good.
Oh, that's awesome.
And for people that want to get their feet wet with cons, the scale and the impact, like the intensity of this con, it is the most mellow convention that I've ever been to.
So it's a gateway con?
I would say if you have friends that are on the fence that that have geek tendencies, and they're kind of like, I don't know when I want to go, but it's like, okay, they like other stuff. They like street racing. They like, hip hop, urban art, they like DJing, it's all these intersections of stuff. Somebody will find something that they like there. So it's not going to be you're dragging somebody along a convention floor and going for 2 hours, checking every little sight and sound out. There's going to be something for everybody here. So this is very low impact. The people that are the exhibitors at their booths, because a lot of these people are independent artists and artisans and designers. You can tell that it's more mellow on their end. So there wasn't like this high capita that they had to spend to get a booth. So if you even come within like 2 feet of their booth, they'd be like, you better buy something. Because if you don't, did you know how much I spent to be here? Like, that level of intensity is not there. Not at all.
Buy now.
Buy now. That's San Diego Comic-Con, kids. If you go by Alex Ross' booth, you better buy a damn sticker. Otherwise, he's going to kick you into orbit. So all the stickers. All the sticker packs from Alex Ross, all the Kingdom Come, all the Earth X, you better get it, because if you take 1 foot on his square of his rug, of his area, of his booth, that is real estate that you're spending and time that you're wasting. I don't know if I tried to dissuade you, Ruben, from going to Comic-Con, but trust me, WonderCon's not like that. So
No.
Yes, I would say check out DesignerCon. It's worth the drive, especially if you're from NorCal like Ruben. It's a different animal than your regular pop culture con. I think it's more kind of like a laid back, kickback kind of party vibe. And I dug it.
Gotcha.
I mean, all the major booths are there. You got your Super 7, you got your Mondo, you got your your Q Figs, you got Funkos, it has all the stuff that's normally there. It's just the intensity and the foot traffic is lowered down.
Gotcha.
You can tell that people are not trying to compete with one another as much as they're just coming to check it out and see what's new.
That's awesome.
So it's very low impact
event.
Yeah, I mean, this is the gateway con, as Ruben called it, if you're going to come and check something out, because it has the spirit of California infused in it. So if normally you haven't really checked out too much on the con scene here on the West Coast, I'd recommend it. And that's it for this week, kids. We went over Geeksgiving. We talked some House of the Dragoon. We talked about G1. We talked about the Fantastic Four. We talked about DesignerCon. But more importantly, we need to keep this discussion going in the comments below. Let us know what you are thankful for this Geeksgiving, because I think a lot of the times we need to be champions. We need to be agents of change. We need to applaud the mainstream when they get it right versus giving them a wag of the finger every time and having 3-hour streams ad nauseum where we tell them what we didn't like, but we need to tell them what they do get right. And we need to vote with our dollars when we do it. So let us know what you're looking forward to that's going on right now, or it's going to be happening in 2023. As always, check the socials. DJ Ruben has his Twitter and his Instagram. We have an Instagram for this show. I have mine. You have yours. And as always, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, do the whole 9. But as always, wherever you go, whatever you do, make sure that you keep it geeky, my friends. Right, DJ Ruben?
Keep it geeky.
Keep it geeky. And remember, the best coast is the West Coast. And we'll catch you on the next one, kids. Konnichiwa. And sign.